Okay, so let's look at the second subtopics of carboxylic acids and its derivatives, which is about nomenclature. Okay, so macam mana kita nak namakan carboxylic acids according to the IUPAC nomenclature? The first thing that you need to do ialah you kena tengok the longest carbon chain yang ada carboxyl group, because that will be the parents, okay? And then you need to number the carboxyl carbon as carbon number 1, okay? Carbon yang pertama. If the carboxyl group is at the terminal, the carbon of the carboxyl group is not numbered. Sebab kalau ada satu sahaja COOH, that means memang carboxyl group tu berada dekat hujung sekali. So kita tak perlu pun numberkan dia. Macam ni lah, dekat hujung sekali. So no need to number it down. And then kalau let's say dia ada dua COOH, that means kita tahu mesti dekat organic compound tersebut, dekat hujung belah kanan dengan hujung belah kiri ada COOH. Kiranya ada carboxyl groups are at both ends. Okay. And then the way you want to name the carboxylic acids according to the IUPAC nomenclature. Okay, kita dah tahu macam mana kita nak namakan alkene. Cumanya the way you namakan alkene tu, you drop the E at the alkene and then kita gantikan dengan perkataan oic acid. For example, if you can see here, COOH kan, memanglah kita nampak this is actually the functional group of the carboxylic acid. Okay, and supposedly you should numberkan dia carbon number 1. Tapi this is the only carbon here, so no need to number it down. Okay, and also dia ada satu sahaja carbon. Kalau kita nak namakan alkene yang ada satu sahaja carbon, supposedly nama dia adalah methane, isn't it? Supposedly nama dia methane. Tapi since that kita ada functional group COOH kat belakang ni, this is a functional group for carboxylic acid. So kita boleh drop the E kat belakang ni and then kita gantikan dengan apa? Kita gantikan dengan perkataan oic acid. Okay. So that's why nama dia adalah methanoic acid. So this is the IUPAC name untuk this organic compound. Kat bawah ni dalam kurungan ni apa? This is actually the common names. Okay. Tapi bila you nak namakan, you have to follow the rules untuk namakan according to the IUPAC nomenclature lah. Okay. Tapi for a cyclic carboxylic acid, the prefix is the name of the ring plus suffix carboxylic acid. Macam mana nanti kita akan tengok lah caranya, apa tu bentuk cyclic carboxylic acid dan macam mana nak cara namakan dia according to the IUPAC nomenclature. Okay. So yang this one tak ada lagi ring, so kita tengok dulu lah for some of the examples here. Okay, again kat sini kita nampak ada functional group COOH. That means this is a carboxylic acid and ada dua carbon kat sini. This will be carbon number 1. Okay, and this will be carbon number 2. Since dah ada dua carbon, supposedly dia punya parents name dia should be X here. Tapi because this is a carboxylic acid functional group, so you have to add oic acid kat belakang. So dia like ethanoic acid. This is nama IUPAC nomenclature. You kena tahu macam mana nak namakan dia according to the IUPAC nomenclature. Common names ni is just additional info to you guys je. Okay, so let's look at this one. Dia adalah CH3 and then CH2, 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 COOH. Okay, that means dia ada 5 carbon kat situ, including yang the one melekat dengan OOH. Okay, so that's why kita namakan dia sebagai pentanoic acid according to the IUPAC nomenclature. Alright, so let's look at some of the examples here. Okay, kita tengok example yang ni dulu. This is 2,4-dimethyl pentanoic acid. First thing first, you kena cari the longest carbon chain yang includes the C double bond OOH. Okay, so this will be the carbon number 1 and then carbon number 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so kiranya Kalau nak ikutkan, this will be the parent. Okay, which dia ada 5 as the longest carbon chain. So since ada 5 as the longest carbon chain, that's why nama parent dia ialah pentanoic acid. Okay, cuma the way you want to number this down, you need to prioritizekan the carbon yang ada functional group double bond OOH, which is this carbon. So this carbon atom will be carbon number 1. Okay. So dia akan jadi carbon number 1. Sebenarnya carbon number 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright. So as you can see dekat carbon number 2 ada substituent CH3 dan juga carbon number 4 pun ada substituent CH3. Kalau ada dua substituents yang sama, macam mana you nak namakan dia? You can name it as dimethyl. Okay, because ada dua substituent methyl yang sama. Tapi you need to write down dia punya position. Di mana position methyl tersebut berada pada kedudukan carbon number 2 and 4 respectively. So this is how you should name your organic compound that looks something like this. Okay, next. Okay. Ada carbon-carbon double bond kat sini. That means ada alkene. Okay, ada alkene. And then the functional group COOH. Macam mana nak namakan tu? Okay, as usual, the priority will be at the COOH, okay? Although ada alkene, tapi priority dia pada this carboxylic acid. And you need to count the longest carbon chain starting from the COOH. So this will be carbon number 1, carbon number 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? So kita highlightkan parents tersebut. Alright. And then kita numberkan carbon number 1 adalah carbon yang ada si double bond OOH ni ya. Lepas tu this one will be carbon number 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and we can see here carbon number 3 ada functional group alkene. Okay, carbon number 3 ada functional group alkene. So macam mana nak namakan tu? Okay, first thing first, kita tahu parents dia ada 5 carbon. So it's going to be pent. Okay, it's going to be pent sebab dia ada 5 carbon atom. Okay, cumanya disebabkan ada carbon-carbon double bond dekat carbon number 3, so you kena letak En lah kat situ, pentene. Okay, and then ada functional group COOH, so kita kena utamakan functional group COOH as the nanti nama yang terakhir, so dia jadilah pentanoic acid. Okay, tapi since that this is the carbon number 1 and alkene jatuh pada carbon number 3, so you kena bagi tahu kedudukan okay untuk alkene tersebut. So this number 3 dia represent kedudukan carbon yang ada double bond. Okay, and then cis is because kita ada dua group yang sama berada di bawah, which is H ni berada di bawah, so it's gonna be cis-3-pentanoic acid. Okay, next let's look at this one. Again, kita ada COH, kita ada double bond, tapi the priority will be given kepada carboxylic acid. So I'm going to circle the longest carbon chain here as the parent, di mana COH C ni akan jadi carbon number 1. This one carbon number 2, 3, 4. Okay. So you know that the longest carbon chain here nama ada 4 carbon. And kalau 4 carbon, apakah dia punya nama parent jadi boot. Okay, boot. So boot, and disebabkan dekat carbon number 3 ni ada double bond, okay, ada functional group alkene, so it's gonna be butene. Okay, lepas tu tapi kita always prioritizekan the COOH, that's why kita akhirkan dia dengan oic acid. Lepas tu I will tell the position of the alkene here, which is di kedudukan carbon number 3 ada alkene, so that's why lah 3 butenoic acid. Okay, how about this substituent? Okay, this substituent, jangan risau, you still need to bagi tahu dia, which we know that Cl ni berada, chlorine ni bila dia jadi substituents, nama dia chloro, and dia berada pada kedudukan carbon number 2, so dia punya nama ni 2-chloro ni akan duduk dekat depan sekali lah. Alright, ni macam nama parents, okay. Walaupun ada alkin, lepas tu kena bagi tahu kedudukan alkin dulu. Lepas tu carboxylic acid tak payah pun bagi tahu kedudukan because it's always be ada carbon number first. And substituents kita letak dekat depan sekali ni ya. Ni kedudukan untuk substituents, you letak nama substituents tersebut. So nama dia jadi dah 2-chloro-3-butanoic acid. Okay. And let's look at this example pula. Okay, kita nampak ada OH, ada COOH. So, kita nak bagi priority pada mana satu dulu? Pada COOH. Always prioritize carboxylic acid. Kalau let's say you jumpa je any functional group lain, you always have to prioritize the carboxylic acid, okay? So, the parent's name mesti kat belakang sekali ada oic acid just because of the functional group carboxylic acid. Okay, this is functional group untuk alkohol. Bila dia jadi substituents, dia akan jadi hydroxy. Okay. And this will be the longest carbon chain yang ada COOH. So this will be carbon number 1, carbon number 2, 3, 4. So kita tahu kita ada substituents dekat carbon number 3 yang di mana nama dia ialah 3-hydroxy. Okay. How about the parent's name? The parent's name kita tahu ada 4 carbon atoms. Therefore, is going to be butan. And it's alkene, tak ada alkene langsung saja dia butan lah. Lepas tu, kiranya nama penuh parents dia ialah butanoic acid. Cumanya, how do we put this substituents name? Kita letak kat depan sekali. So, dia jadilah 3-hydroxybutanoic acid. Okay, next, let's look at this one. Okay, kita nampak ada cyclic ring kat sini. And then, ada functional group C double bond OOH. Okay, macam mana ni kita nak namakan this thing? Okay, don't worry. Okay, you tahu kan nama ring ni adalah cyclohexane, betul tak? Lepas tu, you campurkan je dengan carboxylic acid, itu saja. So, that's why nama dia akan jadi cyclohexane carboxylic acid. Itu saja ya. Sebab dia tak ada longest continuous carbon chain. Dia ada ring kat sini. So, dia macam, you namakan nama ring ni. Okay. You bagi nama-nama ring ni, which is cyclohexane. Lepas tu, you gabungkan sahaja dengan perkataan carboxylic acid. That's all. Okay, how about this one? Kita nampak ada ring. Lepas tu nampak ada OH pula tu. How do you want to name this one? Okay, don't worry. Okay, this is actually macam cis trans because dia ada restricted rotation at the cyclic structure. Cis trans is either dia ada restricted rotation at the carbon-carbon double bond ataupun restricted rotation at the cyclic ring. But in this case, this is a cyclic ring yang ada restricted rotation just because dia ada dua group yang sama dekat satu atas satu bawah, macam ni. So, macam mana namakan dia? Okay, kita tahu kalau let's say kita jumpa ring and then kita nampak COOH, the way you want to name it, you namakan ring tersebut dulu. Lepas tu kita letaklah COOH tu carboxylic acid kat belakang macam ni. We know that this is a cyclohexane, isn't it? We know that this whole thing is a cyclohexane. Cyclohexane bila dia jumpa dengan COOH macam ni. Okay, kalau you nak namakan dia, is going to be cyclohexane carboxylic acid as nama parents dia. But how about you want to name this as the substituents? Okay, ni dah jadi substituents lah sebab hydroxy kan. Okay, kita tak tahulah nak numberkan carbon dia berapa. So, boleh je kita mula dari sini because this is this will always be carbon number 1. Okay, so this will be carbon number 1. Lepas tu carbon number 2, this gonna be carbon number 2, 3, 4, 5. Macam ni ke? Salah, sebab jumpa OH ni lambat sangat, carbon number 5. So kita pusing kod atas. Okay, macam itulah cara kamu nak numberkan dia. So this will be carbon number 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, it's still carbon number 5, isn't it? Okay. So I'm sorry, this ada pembetulan kat sini. It should be trans 5. Sebab ni bentuk trans, and then ada carbon number 5, we have a substituent OH. Tak kisahlah I kira 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ataupun, oh no, I'm sorry, betul lah trans 4. Sorry ya. Cumanya kat sini COH ni dia jadi substituents lah pada this cyclohexane. Okay, cumanya COH yang mendekat pada this ring dia jadi substituents, and this will be carbon number 1. Okay, so this will be carbon number 1. Okay, this will be carbon number 2. This will be carbon number 3. This will be carbon number 4. So betul lah dekat carbon number 1, dekat at this cyclohexane, you can see ada carbon number 1, dia ada substituent COH. Okay, tapi dia benda ni dia macam sebab COH kan, so dia considered as part of the parent's name juga. So that's why nama parent's name dia adalah cyclohexane carboxylic acid. Cumanya kalau nak ikutkan kiraan, we cannot start from here, we need to start from here. Carbon yang directly attached pada COH tu will be carbon number 1. So this will be carbon number 1, 2, 3, 4. So bentuknya adalah bentuk trans. So it's going to be trans 4 hydroxycyclohexane carboxylic acid. Okay, so let's try this out together, shall we? Let's look at this first one. Okay, kita nampak ada cyclic ring, pasal ada COH and then ada BR. Okay, kalau let's say you nampak cyclic structure yang ada COH, macam mana you nak namakan dia? You kena namakan this macam as part of the parents lah. Cuma bila you nak namakan dia is going to be cyclopentane carboxylic acid. Tapi ada double bond kat sini. Lepas tu ada BR. So macam mana nak namakan dia? Okay, so I want to highlight this one first. And also COOH, because nama dia is going to be cyclopentane carboxylic acid, tapi since ada double bond, dia jadi pentene. Okay, so inilah actually the IUPAC nomenclature for this organic compound. Okay, di mana this carbon will be carbon number 1, that's what I told you earlier. Walaupun COH ni kalau dia straight chain sahaja kita bagi number 1, tapi kalau dia melekat dengan cyclic structure, okay, carbon yang attached pada COH ni will be carbon number 1. Okay, so this carbon will be carbon number 1. Lepas tu this carbon will be carbon number 2 because priority kepada alkene functional group compared to halogen functional group. So that's why kita tak naik atas, kita turun bawah. So this will be carbon number 2, and this will be carbon number 3, carbon number 4, this will be carbon number 5. Okay, so nama substituents ni will be 5-bromo. Okay, how about carbon number 2 ni? Carbon number 2 ni kita hanya nanti letak dekat number ni 2-in. So it's going to be 5-bromocyclopentane carboxylic acid. This 2, maksudnya this one adalah kedudukan untuk alkene di carbon number 2. And then 5-bromo ni kita letak depan sekali substituents nama 5-bromo ni. 5-bromocyclopentane carboxylic acid pun boleh, ataupun you nak namakan dia as 5-bromo and then 2, bukan 2, I'm sorry, betul lah 2 cyclopentane carboxylic acid pun boleh. Okay, asalkan you bagi tahu kedudukan carbon double bond. kat sini. Okay. Okay, next. Let's look at this one. This is actually cis-but-3 enoic acid. Okay. Because dia ada alkene, dia ada carboxylic acid. This is actually a straight chain. So the longest carbon chain for the parents here, starting daripada COH ni, CH2, C double bond C, CH3. Okay, so this will be carbon number 1, carbon number 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we know that at the carbon number 3 we have alkene. Sebab tu jadi 3 enoic acid. And then ni adalah bentuk cis. So cis, and also dia ada 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dia ada 5. I'm sorry, dia ada 5 as the parents. So kalau 5 should be pan, bukan but. It should be cis, pan, 3 enoic acid. Okay, it should be cis, pan, 3 enoic acid. Alright, and then next, if you look here, okay, kita ada cyclic structure, lepas tu ada 2 COOH, lepas tu ada BR. Ingat tak, kalau cyclic structure yang berjumpa dengan functional group COH, you have to name the cyclic structure as a parent first. So this is a cyclopentane, so I believe it's going to be cyclopentane. Cuma ni ada 2 carboxylic acid. I believe that you should name it as cyclopentane dicarboxylic acid. How about BR? Okay, so sekarang ni, since dia ada 2 COH, ada BR, kita still need to bagi position, bagi number dekat COH and also BR. So this is going to be carbon number 1. Okay, carbon number 1, carbon yang ada satuan COH ni will be carbon number 1. Lepas tu BR ni carbon number 2, and this one carbon number 3. Okay, so kita tahu BR ni nama substituents yang dekat this organic compound is going to be 2-bromo. Yang ni pula ada 2 kan, so dia jadi dicarboxylic acid. Tapi we still need to bagi position, just because of dekat this cyclic structure kita dah numberkan, okay, kedudukan 2 COH ni dan juga BR. Okay, so it's going to be 1,3 cyclopentane dicarboxylic acid. How about this BR? It's going to be 2-bromo-1,3 cyclopentane dicarboxylic acid. Okay. Alright, so how about this one? Lebih kurang sama je. Cuma ni this time, this is a benzene ring. It's not a alkene ataupun alkene punya cyclic structure. It's a benzene ring. So sama je, this is going to be the parents, okay? The benzene ring ni akan jadi parents. Cuma you kena numberkan carbon yang ada COH dan juga BR, okay? So I'm going to start numberkan this COH as carbon number 1, okay? Carbon yang ada COH ni. Okay, this carbon is going to be carbon number 1. This carbon pula carbon number 2. And then this one carbon number 3, carbon number 4, carbon number 5, carbon number 6. Okay. Cuma ni yang pentingnya ni lah, carbon number 1, carbon number 2 and carbon number 4. Lepas tu cara nak namakan dia, kita tahu kita ada 2 carboxylic acid, so it's going to be dicarboxylic acid. Cuma you need to bagi tahu position COH dekat benzene ring tersebut, di mana kita tahu COH dekat benzene ring ni berada pada kedudukan carbon number 1 and also carbon number 4. So nama parents dia akan jadi 1,4-benzene dicarboxylic acid. How about this BR? Kita tahu BR ni adalah substituents pada benzene ring carbon number 2, so it's going to be 2-bromo. So nama IUPAC full dia ialah 2-bromo 1,4-benzene dicarboxylic acid. Okay. Next, okay, this is 4-hydroxyl benzoic acid. Sebab kenapa dia terus benzoic acid sebab dia ada satu saja COH. Okay, and we have learned ada benzene dekat chapter benzene, di mana kalau benzene ring yang ada attach pada COH, kita akan utamakan untuk namakan dia, kita akan prioritize COH. Okay, ada priority list that I have showed you dekat chapter benzene, di mana kalau let's say benzene ada dua substituents yang one of it adalah substituents dia adalah COH, kita akan utamakan COH. So the parent's name will be benzoic acid. Okay, instead of phenol dia jadi benzoic acid. And then this OH ni dia terus auto jadi substituents. Okay, so kita akan letak carbon number 1 yang the one yang attached pada COH, this carbon number 1. Okay, and OH pada carbon number 4. So that's why dia punya nama ni according to the IUPAC nomenclature ialah 4-hydroxyl benzoic acid. Okay, last one. Okay, nama dia ni adalah 2-amino 3-phenyl propanoic acid. Okay, kenapa? Because as what I told you, kalau you nampak benzene ring and you nampak COH ataupun amino, kat sini this organic compound ada 3 functional group. Ada benzene, ada COH, ada NH2. Tapi when it comes to name this organic compound, you have to prioritize the COOH. Okay, kita kena prioritize COH. So since that we are prioritizing the COH, so untuk tahu nama parents dia, you need to find the longest carbon chain that is directly attached to the COH. Berbeza dengan cyclic structure is different. Okay, kalau let's say ada straight chain, this is a straight chain COOH. So the parent's name akan jadi the longest carbon chain yang directly attached pada COH. So this will be carbon number 1, carbon number 2 and carbon number 3. Okay, so ni adalah panjang parents dia. This will be carbon number 1, carbon number 2, carbon number 3, and we know at the carbon number 2 we have substituent NH2. So bila nak namakan this substituents is going to be 2-amino. And then at the carbon number 3 we have substituents benzene. Do you still remember? Kalau let's say benzene, dia ada dua nama kalau dia jadi substituent. Sama ada 2-benzyl ataupun sama ada 3-benzyl, in this case sama ada dia jadi benzyl ataupun phenyl. Tapi kalau benzyl tu contohnya CH2Cl lah, macam tu. Tapi ni tak, ni CH2 but with something else. So tak boleh namakan dia benzyl. So in this case the benzene ring bila dia jadi substituents, dia akan jadi phenyl. So the name of this substituents, nama penuhnya adalah 3-phenyl. Okay, so kita dah tahu nama parents dia apa. Nama parents dia kita ada 3 carbon kat sini. So it's going to be propan, and since ada COH, so it's going to be propanoic acid. So this is nama parent dia, propanoic acid. And kalau you nak namakan according to IUPAC nomenclature, kalau for substituents, you kena utamakan according to the alphabetical order. So since that this is A, this is P, so kita letak 2 amino dulu kat depan, and then 3-phenyl sebab dia P, 3-phenyl. So nama penuh dia ialah 2-amino-3-phenyl propanoic acid.